We have with us today one of the members of our short sale team here at Kalama Banker, and that's Realtor Associate Phoebe Nikolakakis. And Phoebe has been on our short sale team for how many years now, Phoebe?
3 years.
Okay. We started our short sale team in 2008, and since then our team has closed over 100 short sale listings. So we thought it would be advantageous for our agents to hear what she's done since and how she works her short sale listings. So we have questions for her. If you have questions, just raise your hand and you can ask questions too. First, how and why did you start in doing short sales?
It was actually accidental. My very first listing went from being a regular listing to a short sale. And so I learned the process kind of trial by fire and with a lot of assistance from you.
Why, thank you. And what year was that you started?
That was 2011.
Okay, not too long, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what advice would you give to an agent that has never had a short sale listing before, but is thinking about taking one on?
I would say the first thing you really need to do is understand the situation. You need to know everything about their outstanding liens. You need to know what their hardship is. And basically you just need to understand what their financial picture is as well. Because those are all things that the lender's going to ask for. Also, I always tell people they need to make sure they understand if they have their financial papers in order, so like their taxes and paychecks and things like that, bank accounts.
Do you commonly work with other agents when they have that short sale opportunity, they haven't done one before?
I have worked with quite a few, well, not quite a few, I've worked with other agents to help them with short sales, and it works out really well because, you know, we tag team and we take care of our client as best we can.
Okay. And if we flip to the other side, and you have an agent or a buyer that is going to offer on one of your short sale listings, what advice would you give them?
Well, first I want to find out what is their time frame. If they want to move in next week or in 30 days, that's generally not going to happen. So I want to find out what their time frame is. I need to understand what their cash situation is, because in a lot of cases, the buyer may have to bring additional cash to closing that would normally be coming from the seller. So it's just making sure they understand the time frame and the cash situation.
Okay. And for a buyer, what's the benefits? Why would they want to buy a short sale? Why would they want to buy a short sale listing from you?
Short sales are often just enough below market that they might get a fairly good price.
Half price?
Oh no, it's probably only going to be maybe 5, and you'd be lucky to get 10% below the market, maybe 5%.
So those deals where people say, I want to buy a foreclosure, I want to buy a short sale, they're not here in Hawaii, or you don't see them often?
I just don't think that you're getting, I mean, if people are looking for the big 50% off or 20% off, I don't think that's happening. I think people are getting, you know, maybe 5 or 10% below market, because the lenders know the market's strong here and we have short inventory.
Okay, so in your listings, do you put that big banner on the house where it says for sale 5% off, since no, can't do that. All right. Any questions for Phoebe on short sale listings?
What was the longest short sale from selling to closing?
So Nail Lunny is asking, what's the longest short sale that you've had that actually closed, right?
I would say probably 7 months, something like that, maybe 6 months. Yeah, yeah.
And what took that one so long?
What generally will make a short sale take a little bit longer is multiple lien holders. So if you have a first, a second, and delinquent maintenance fees, those are really the hardest ones to close. So that's another piece of advice I give the seller if they're interested in selling their house short is, I like to find out what is the situation. If it's a townhome or condo, what's the situation with the delinquent maintenance fees, if there are any. And if there aren't, then I'm like, hooray, because that's one less thing I have to negotiate, and then I strongly encourage them to keep the maintenance fees in order.
So if there are delinquent maintenance fees, who ends up paying them? Will the lender that's approving the short sale pay them?
It could be a combination of the lender and the buyer. It depends on the amount of the delinquency and what the homeowner association or the AOAO is willing to accept.
Okay. And does the buyer know that when they put the offer in, how much they're going to pay for the maintenance fees outstanding?
No, that's a matter of negotiation once the offer's accepted by once the offer is being sent to the first lien holder. Then everything gets negotiated.
All right. Any other questions for short sales specialist Phoebe? Yes, Leslie.
What is the most common thing that occurs where the lender won't approve the short sale that you found in your experience?
So Leslie's asking, what's the most common factor or reason why a short sale is not approved by the lender?
So I can't say I have a most common, but the things that I've seen is the hardship is not, I can't say a strong hardship, but for example, I had a listing that the owner had taken out quite a bit of equity when the market was at its peak. And then she wanted to sell 2 or 3 years later, and they came back and they said, but you still have a job, and you know, what's the hardship? And basically the gal wanted to retire, and she couldn't because, you know, she couldn't get out of the house. The house was had been devalued enough. So what the situation is there is the hardship was not really a hardship.
Right. Does that answer the question, Leslie? All right. Any other questions for Phoebe? Yes, Lorca.
What's the shortest?
So the question is, and I think it's a great one, what's the shortest time period you've had in listing and closing a short sale?
Well, it's a little deceptive, but I'm going to say 4 months. But I had knowledge and had the listing for probably 2 months before that. And what happened was the bank said, we want to tell you what price to put the property on the market. So once we got the price and went to market, we had offers very quickly, and then we were able to close fairly quickly after that. But it took the bank a couple of months to get to the price.
So that 4 months includes the timeline after the offer was accepted and getting the short sale approved?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you normally get a pre-approved price?
Some banks, like Bank of America, for example, was the one company that came up with the pre-approved price. And then once, again, we got an offer and they accepted it and we went to closing. That was easy. Oftentimes, they come in and do what they call a broker price opinion once the house is actually on the market and we've, started marketing the property, or once we submit to them an offer. And so it takes quite a long time at that point to have them get, so it just takes a long time for the buyer to actually hear anything back.
Okay. Right. Did I see another question? No? Any other? Barry, question?
Is there an advantage for a short sale after it's fallen out of escrow and it's back on the market? It's going to be a little bit easier to sell that way?
Okay, so Barry's question is, if a short sale listing has fallen out of escrow on the first buyer, is it easier the second time around?
It depends. My experience with that has been I've been able to find a replacement offer, and it was at the same price, and we were able to move forward. So a lot of it just depends on the lender. If the lender is willing to, they give you usually 7 days, so it does pay to have a backup offer in place if at all possible.
Right. Well, let's give, we have one more question. Okay. Go ahead, Barry.
My point was that if you've already gone into escrow, is there an advantage that you kind of know what price the lender's looking for?
Okay, so a follow-up question from Barry is, if it has fallen out of escrow, do you then know what price the lender who's going to approve the short sale is willing to accept?
Yes. In that case, then you would be soliciting offers at that same price and with the same terms that they already approved. So as the buyer, you're going to be looking at it as, okay, I already know all the terms and price, and it could be easy to go forward. Again, it depends on whether or not the lender is willing to wait the 7 or 14 days to get that second offer in, or how quickly it comes into them.
Okay. All right, let's give Phoebe a round of applause. Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank you.